Well, you had a chance to watch them scrimmage there, and what do you come out thinking?
I thought from just a scrimmage standpoint, it's always good for us to get as many live reps as possible, where there's live tackling and we're able to try to break tackles and finish plays off. I don't think you ever walk away from any scrimmage just feeling excellent, right, on both sides of the ball. There's always room for improvement. For us, we've got to really clean up our details. Our pre-snap, we had a couple of pre-snap penalties, a few penalties, during the play on a couple of holding calls. So we've got to clean up some of those things. But again, the important piece for us right now is just playing as much live football as we possibly can. And so there were some things that were good, and there were some things that were correct. We got to get corrected, which I think you're always going to have in a scrimmage.
We've seen some formations throughout this week of Will and Mike Wright playing together. I guess what are kind of your thoughts on the way Mike's kind of accepted his role since coming here, and your ability to use him in various ways?
Yeah, Mike is obviously he's a very explosive athlete, and he can do some things. And like I've told you guys before, without getting too specific, it's about putting your best players on the field and the guys that can create explosive plays, no matter what 11 guys that is. So we've messed with a few things, and I think going forward, we'll continue evaluating each week, right, what explosive players we have.
When you look at this as a play caller in a scrimmage, are you scripting out the beginning of that, or are you just play calling and situationally doing it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Each scrimmage is a little bit different. Sometimes I script it out. A lot of times, like today, I was really challenging myself to not script it and just make sure that I was calling it off the hip, so that you're mixing personnel groups. You're trying to get a good balance of your run, your play action, your shots. So today I was just shooting from the hip from our call sheet. But as a staff, we put together the call sheet each week, so it's really an easy deal. I mean, what we ran today were all plays that we have run over the past 5 days, so there wasn't any new install or anything. But for me, it's just as important that I practice each of these situations, and where's the time to go fast, where is the time to take a shot, where is the time to sequence a play call on a 3rd down, where that you're going for it maybe on a 4th down. And then obviously as much red area work. We didn't do any 2-minute situation today, but I need as much 2-minute. That helps me as much as anything, is practicing those situations, going through it in my head, listening to the staff and what their ideas. Hey, let's come back to this, because at the end of the day, it's all of us together.
How would you grade yourself after one practice here? After this
oh man, that was probably a C-, man. I'm hard on myself, I thought there were some good things that were done out there today, and some guys got some opportunities, and I thought a couple of kids really stepped up. But I think the reality of it is you're always looking for something that you can correct better on every single play, no matter what position you play, no matter what you coach, right? So for me, if we have an unsuccessful play and it looks bad, right, I got to go back, I got to look myself in the mirror, and I got to go, hey, do I need to reinstall that? Am I teaching this good enough, right? Am I relating to the guys well enough where they know exactly the level of detail and the expectation, right? And if not, I got to be honest with myself. I got to go back and clean up the way that I approach that teaching.
As a play caller, as a scheme designer, how difficult is it to reach this point where it's time to stop installing and start perfecting what you do?
You know what? I don't think you ever stop installing. Mm-hmm. That's the fun part of this offense, right? Is the creative minds, right, and putting everything together, and the different personnel groups and the formations, man. The challenge is you never stop installing, right? You just kind of keep growing it. And once you get good at something, then you figure out, right, what's the next presentation? How do we complement that? How do guys stop that? So, you never stop installing, right? And but that's the fun part, and that's the challenging part.
How much do you feel since the spring game to the first scrimmage, not the second scrimmage, have you grown, comfortable in terms of in-game communication and stuff like that with Will Rogers?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think Will and I have really gained a lot of mutual respect. We see a lot of things the same way. When something's starting to roll off my tongue, he'll already have it called because he knows exactly what I'm thinking. And, I think that's something that's really important throughout the season, and as we become more comfortable with each other, is he knows what I'm thinking. He's in the mind of the play caller, and he's understanding the play caller's purpose.
Does that surprise you that he's picked it up that quickly?
Not at all. Man, this guy loves football. Look at him. He's out there right now with his dad. He's teaching his dad drops right now of the way that we're play action, right? He lives and breathes football every second of every day. And so he's up here all the time, right, studying, asking questions, giving ideas. It doesn't surprise me one single bit.
We've seen both Percy Lewis and Dollar Bill kind of getting some first-team reps over at left tackle. What are you seeing from that battle right now? What's standing out about both those guys?
Yeah, Percy has done some really good things. We started Doll at tackle, and then he moved in a little bit and played a little bit of guard. He's got some versatility. But again, going back to when I talk about best 11, it's not just skill guys. I mean, we're trying to figure out the best 5 combination guys, whether that's guys that primarily play tackle that need to be moved in. If you've got an offensive lineman that you got 2 tackles that are stacked that are really good, and you might need to move one into guard. But for those guys, I think every day it's a constant competition. And really, that's when you get good, right? Whenever guys start competing and they don't get complacent and they don't get comfortable, and it's you can't ever sit back and go, all right, this is my job. I got this locked down, right? Because that's not the reality of college football. College football there is constant competition, right? And then you recruit guys, right, that you hope will come in and try to beat those guys out. So, it's day by day, right? Day by day, both those guys have done some good things. Both of them have a lot of room for improvement, but it'll be a constant competition each day.
I apologize if you've already touched on this, but you got a pretty older backfield, and you bring Kevon in, who's got experience. Simeon got experience last year. Pittman's an older guy, even though he's a JUCO transfer, but Seth Davis has done some good things in camp. It's going to be hard to keep him off the field.
Yes, sir. Seth Davis, he had a good spring. He came back to fall camp, man, and he's done a really, really nice job. He is youthful, right, and not as experienced as those guys. But I'll tell you what, man, Seth Davis is hungry and he runs hard. When you put the ball in his hands, he's got a chance to break a couple tackles and go, score a couple touchdowns, as you guys have seen in these couple scrimmages. Seth is a great young man. Really, again, this is a lot of offense for a young man coming in, but he's done a great job of handling it all. And I think the good thing about guys like that, young players, is you have to find ways to get them on the field, right? And don't overthink it.
Thank you, Coach.
All good?